These are unremarkable, everyday things, things that we all recognize. It's kind of, breakfast time. So if I asked you to paint these things, and if we were in some magic universe where you could all paint with excellent skill, no one would be surprised if all of your paintings were different from each other. In fact, we'd be surprised if anyone painted the same set of objects in the same way, even if we all painted them in a realistic manner. Dutch still life paintings from the 17th century are extremely realistic. They tend to paint similar sets of objects, just like these objects. And yet the paintings are still distinctive. More than that, we value the paintings for their distinctiveness, for the way that one artist might emphasize the color of the apple, and another artist might emphasize the texture, the smooth skin of the apple. We both expect and value artistry in representing the same set of things. And if we tried to create a protocol by which we might all paint the same picture of these things, we wouldn't value those paintings very much. Now, what if I asked you instead to make a list of these things? So think about it for a second. Make a list in your head. Now, instinctively, we might think that our lists would be very similar. But there are a lot of ways to decide what counts as a thing for the purpose of making a list. So you might make a list like this. 2 apples, 1 pear, 3 pieces of bread, 2 knives, 1 jar of jam, 2 plates, 1 mug, 2 napkins. Or you might say 3 pieces of fruit, 2 rolls, 1 piece of bread, 1 dinner knife, 1 steak knife, 1 pot of jam, 1 dinner plate, 1 coffee mug, 1 fruit plate, 2 pieces of cloth. Or you might say 4 vessels, 2 tools, 2 textiles, 4 fruits, 3 baked goods. All of these are perfectly reasonable and equally correct. They're also equally objective in the sense of not commenting on, not assessing any of the objects, and also not referring to them by any selected properties. So it didn't say the mug was yellow or small or inexpensive or cute or anything like that. Now here's the thing. In contrast to the painting, we tend to expect that we'll all make similar lists. And we definitely think that even if we didn't make the same list, well, we could make the same list if we just created the right protocol to do so. It seems like we should be able to remove the interpretive aspects of making lists, despite the fact that whenever we do create such protocols, we violate them and actually create different lists from what the protocols tell us that we should do all of the time, no matter what expertise we have or the care we take in making the lists. However much it seems like creating a list of objects is a totally different thing from painting the same group of objects, the interpretive processes by which we make lists and paint things are basically the same. And what I'm saying here is there's no line between description and interpretation, no clear line anyway. Now, description is a synonym for data collection, and that means there's no clear way to differentiate between painting a set of objects and providing data on what they weigh, because your plate weighs differently if it's got bread and jam on it or not. And if you have a list with a thing that's a plate of bread and jam and another list with a thing that's a plate with nothing on it, you're weighing that plate differently. But that seems wrong, right? It just seems wrong that weighing a thing has an interpretive aspect. And this makes a lot of people really uncomfortable. And yet if you weigh me, I want you to weigh me before I eat this breakfast, not when I eat this breakfast, which everyone here immediately understands because most of you probably think the same way. So this is the kind of thing I think about. And here's one reason why these days. Facts. Because whatever facts are, they're not data that's not interpreted, because that doesn't exist.